What's up, everybody, and welcome back to this week's Bourbon of the Week. I appreciate you stopping back if you've been here before. If this is your first time tuning into the channel, what we do here is we take the bourbons in my collection, we rank them on price, taste, drinkability, we throw them on a ranking sheet, and we see who breaks down to the number one bourbon that I have. What I need from you is comments in the comment section below. If you've had a bourbon before and you think it can top the list, put it down there. We'll see where it falls. What we have this week, Bulleit Bourbon from Bulleit Distilling Company. You've probably seen this on the shelf. It's a staple in the community. Bulleit Bourbon Frontier Whiskey. It's one of the first bourbons that I've ever had myself. I'm excited to try it and see where it ranks on the list today. Let's get to it. Like I said, this week we do have the Bulleit Bourbon. If you haven't heard of Bulleit Bourbon, you probably haven't been in the liquor store in a while, which I don't know, COVID-19, maybe that's your excuse. This has been around way before any of this, so Bulleit's probably a staple in the community. It's one of the first bourbons that I have when my fiance's stepfather got me introduced into the bourbon world, so you guys can all thank him for being part of this community here today. But before we get started, everybody knows, time for the traditional sip. I loved it back then and I love it now, I can tell you that right now. So this is a 90 proof bourbon, so to get into drinkability, a 90 proof bourbon, this is pretty smooth. But one thing I do want to mention is it does say made using our family's high rye mash bill. Being the millennial I am, I did look up the difference between a rye mash and a corn mash. Just to give you an idea, a bourbon, to be considered a bourbon, has to have at least 51% corn in its mash, but it can also have a high rye content, higher than some other bourbons. They can decide how much rye they want to add to it. So Google gives me the definition as the flavor differences between rye and bourbon boil down to their main ingredients. The corn mash used in a bourbon makes for a sweet, full-bodied flavor, while the rye mash in a rye whiskey creates spicy tones and drier taste. You can get that right off the bat when you sip this. It's not as sweet as some other bourbons. It does have that dry, earthy, almost spices undertone, which is really simple to get off the bat in these flavors. And when I talk about drinkability, I'm always talking about how smooth it feels. Is there a burn? Is there a kick? Anything like that. With a higher mash bill, you're going to get some type of kick like that because of those spices, but it's not an alcohol kick, which is what we're really looking for here when we talk about drinkability. I think it's pretty smooth. It is a 90 proof bourbon. It does have that rye undertone. So with those things kept in mind, I'm going to give this like an 8.7 on the drinkability scale, which I think is pretty fair given that high rye mash bill. 8.7. I like that. As for taste on this, again, that high rye is going to give it a little bit less of a sweet flavor, which I do like a lot. I believe I lean towards the corn flavor, that sweet, less spicy, less earthy flavor. So this is going to have like a little bit, it's got an oakier flavor, a smokier flavor. Tastes like you almost just smoked a cigar. So again, this is another one. I know I mentioned before some bourbons. People love to pair cigars with bourbons, and I think this is the real reason that they like to do it, because it already has that smoky, oaky, full-bodied flavor. Other than that, you get a hint of vanilla, and that's about it. The spices, the oak, and the smoke is really what you're going to pull out of the flavor profile with this. And it's not bad by any means. The best part about Bulleit is it does so well at combining all of those flavors, and none of them overwhelm the other one. So you really do have a full-bodied, very subtle flavor profile here, but at the same time, if you're looking for each individual flavors, you can really pull it out of there. I like it. I don't usually like a smoky, oaky flavor, but it's not overwhelming, and I think that's the best part about Bulleit, is they know how to combine these flavors in such a way that even with a high rye mash bill, they're going to give you a good-bodied flavor, and I like it. I like it a lot. Because it doesn't have that much sweetness in it, I do personally not like it as much as I would like a sweeter flavor. So I'm going to drop this down just a little bit, not a lot. I'm going to give it a 7.9 on the flavor scale. I love the way they combine the flavors that they have. I'm just not the biggest advocate for a high rye mash from what I'm learning about rye mashes over corn mashes. As for price on this, this comes in at $30.99, $31 bottle of bourbon. Like I said, you can find it anywhere. You're not going to have to get the runaround. It's not like Blanton's or Eagle Rare or Buffalo Trace where you're going to be looking all over for this and paying a bit of a premium because of it. Given the fact that it's only a $31 bottle and it's going to have good drinkability, a solid profile when it comes to taste, I'm going to give this a pretty good score on price. I'm going to give this like an 8.4. Again, because it's not my favorite bottle, I'm not going to put it up there at like a 9 or a 10 for price. It is a $31 bottle. You can't really beat that. If it had a little bit more of a corn mash, I'd probably love it even more than I do right now. You don't have this on your shelf. I don't know why. It's Really good if you're introducing somebody into the bourbon world, which is kind of what this channel is all about. Getting people who are into the whiskey world or who are into other beers or liquors into the bourbon world. This is a good solid staple to start with. But trying this again, I would say Bulleit put Basil Hayden's right up there with a contender as one of the offerings that I would put a new bourbon drinker to try to pull them into the bourbon world. With that, we're going to have an average score of 8.33, which is actually going to put Bulleit third on our list below our 2 Wild Turkey contenders, putting it real close up there with the Long Branch. Again, the rye mash on this really does bring out a good flavor profile. It's not my favorite because of it. So if you haven't already, go out, grab yourself a bottle of Bulleit, keep it on the shelves. You're not going to be disappointed with the taste. You're not going to be disappointed with the pick. $31, you're not going to break the bank either. Give it to your friends who are trying to get into the bourbon world and aren't quite there yet. I really think you're going to be happy about the profile and the taste and the drinkability. And again, $31, can't really beat it. Thanks for stopping back again this week. If you haven't already, click that like, click that subscribe. What I need from you is comments in the comment section below of bourbons that you think can top #1 on the list. Please drink responsibly, don't drink and drive, and as always, wash your hands. Cheers, guys. See you next week.